Come on through. Happy Thursday, everyone. Come on through. Let me bring up my live so I can share. Hey, Jocelyn, thanks for joining. Hey, Chucky. You guys, do me a favor. If you could, please make sure to share into the many different groups that you're in, as well as on your page, etc. Let's let folks know we are going live. Hey, Jerod, thank you for joining. Hey, T, how are you? I was just asking everyone to please be sure to share. I am going out here now and sharing in different groups that I'm in. Definitely let everyone know I'm just getting this all squared away, and then we're going to be ready to get going. Share, share, share. Let me see on the groups here. Let's get some other folks in here. Gerard, make sure you share so folks know. Thank you, T. I see that you shared. Thank you so much. All right. All right, so while we're waiting for a few more folks to join, tonight, guys, is all about Epic Live. We are preparing for October 25th through the 27th in Atlanta, Georgia. The epiConference is back. I don't know how many of you guys joined us last year, but if you did, you know that it was on fire. It was our inaugural year, and it was fantastic. But we're back again this year with a whole new lineup, great speakers, great topics, great location. I am extremely excited, and it's 2 days this year. Last year, it was one full day of a conference. This year is 2 full days, and actually, on the 25th, that Friday night, we're going to all have like a meet and greet. Saturday and Sunday are 2 full conference days. And believe me, it's not like a typical conference. It's not your normal run-of-the-mill conference. It is definitely something different. And I put a lot of time and energy into developing something that we have not seen before and had not experienced before. So I hope that you guys will join us this year. We have a great lineup. I don't know if you guys have seen some of our speakers. We have Dr. Myla Bennett, Dr. Avis Jones DeWeaver. We have Dr. Jamal Bryant. We have Stormy Wellington, Sassy Jones. I mean, the list just continues to go on and on and on. And we also have the gentleman that we're going to have tonight join, which is JD Smith. I've been knowing JD for over 30 years, and JD is a true professional. I've asked him to speak at the conference, not just one year. He spoke last year, but he's actually back again this year because he brought so much power and growth to the conference that it just behooved me not to bring him back. Actually, the only 2 people that we brought back from last year was JD Smith and Dr. Myla Bennett. I continue to get so many requests for them to return from our surveys and the feedback that we had to have them there again. Even though they're coming back with totally different topics. They're not talking about the same stuff that they talked about last year. None of the topics are the same from last year. So if you're coming expecting to see or dreading because you think it's going to be the same thing, it's totally not. Check us out on www.theepiconference.com. Our layout is there so you can see what we're talking about. But what I'm going to do is try to join JD Smith in. We're going to talk today about the importance of investing in ourselves. Most of us have come from very humble beginnings, humble starts, and a lot of us just don't believe in investing the time and the funds into building and growing our careers. And you will stay stagnant if you don't invest the time and invest the money into growing and learning. Your career will only go so far. So I'm getting ready to add him in. And guys, please forgive anything you see. I had a vampire facial today, so I'm still living with the aftermath of that. So excuse the bareness of the face. But let me try to bring JD Smith in. Let's see here. Hopefully this works well, because I struggle sometimes with adding folks onto Facebook Live. This whole technology thing sometimes with Facebook is a little iffy. So let's see. It says adding, so we don't have a problem. Yay! Okay, we were able to add you in. So JD, can you tilt your phone a little bit so that we can see more of you? You seem okay. Good. Yeah. That's
There
great.
we go.
That is perfect. Okay, so everybody, this is JD Smith. As I mentioned before, I've known him over 30 years. He is a magnetic speaker. He's
Thank you.
he's very charismatic, and he's very knowledgeable on the importance of speaking life into your career, into any of your endeavors. Is so important. And he did a whole speech on that on last year. This year, he's coming back better than ever. And I'm not going to give away what he's going to be talking about at the conference. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But he and I had a great conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I said, you know what? Let's talk about this on your Facebook Live. It was all about the importance of investing in yourself. See, Jerod and I both grew up together. I think any of you guys who know me, you've probably heard me say time and time again, Shell Road. So if I have any Shell Road people out there, I want you to pound Shell Road right now. Let me know that you're there. Not pound, it's a hashtag Shell Road. But we grew up in, very modest beginnings. And many of us were taught that you don't spend money or put money into self-development. Gerard, you want to share any thoughts on that?
Yes, it is important to invest in yourself in order to realize what type of talents and what type of abilities that you can use to create multiple streams of income. Investing in yourself basically, in terms deals with developing, your skills, developing your talents. And not only that, it sends a powerful message to yourself, and it sends a powerful message to the world that you have something behind you that is backing you, and that is enabling you to become who you are in life. Just like you said, we come from Shell Road, so they didn't teach us a lot about investing in ourselves. I mean, of course, we went to our high schools and middle schools, and we went to our different colleges, but a lot of people didn't go to college. A lot of people didn't have their parents teach them any type of skills, or basically teach them, hey, what are you going to do when you get out of school? What type of education do you want? Who do you want to be when you grow up? Um, and that's why it's important to have these conversations with your children to find out, okay, what is going to be your worth? I can go to seminars all day. I can go to, a life coach, but you have to invest in yourself personally. And
Mm-hmm.
then the first thing to do with investing in yourself, Ebony, you got to love yourself.
But
And
let's
you
go.
have to
But let's go
go
stop
ahead.
before we even get to the steps. Okay. I want to just make sure I stress the importance here, because you guys know, if you've been following any of my posts, this year's conference, I'm not going to preach to you about MBAs, JDs, PhDs,
Hmm.
all of those things, because those things don't matter when it comes down to elevation of success. Okay. The most
Hmm.
successful people that I've met in business don't have any of those things. All right.
Exactly.
They innately invested in themselves. They surrounded themselves with people that knew more than them, that had more resources than they had, and they absorbed as much as possible. They sat at the feet of those people that allowed them to be their mentors. And let me tell you something. One of the things that I learned out here, and I tell the millennials this a lot, because the millennials, there's so much for you to learn, and you don't have to wait till you get to a certain age to get it, because if you just sit at the feet of the right people, you will learn so much. But the two things I will tell you, the only two ways that you are going to elevate in business. One, you're either going to have to pay your way, or two, you're going to have to serve your way. Okay.
Wow.
And that's it. Because otherwise, if you keep saying, I'm going to keep this in my pocket, I'm not going to invest in myself, I'm not going to go and learn more, I'm not going to purchase the books, I'm not going to go and invest in coaching and mentoring, if I'm not going to hire the people who know the answers better than me, you're going to keep staying stagnant. You're going to keep staying exactly where you are. And guess what? You keep doing the same things, you're going to get the same things. Okay. So I want to make sure to start that off the bat. I don't care how many years. If people come and sit in my office and the first thing they want to do, Jerod, they want to ramble off to me all their degrees, all their credentials, all the companies they work for, all that. But when I put you out there in the water and have you go out there and fend for yourself, can you survive out there without all these titles, without all these degrees, without any of that? Do you actually know what your worth is and what your key talent is? And do you know how to monetize that?
Exactly.
Right?
You know what? You kind of said one a very important thing that I gathered from what you said. Material things come and go, but your knowledge will be there forever. And just like you said, a lot of people say, well, I have a master's degree in this, and I have an MBA, I have a JD, and I have my doctorate degree, and I can do this and I can do that. But a lot of those people you find out serve other people's visions
Oh, well,
and
you
then
know,
don't even come into their vision.
one of the memes that I saw that was so powerful is that the owner of a business typically they don't need a college degree. They don't need an MBA. They don't need a JD. They don't need a PhD. But those who work for them do. So I want you to let
Wow.
that sink in. The owners it does not require you to have any of those things to own a business. But if I hire you, if you're going to come work for me, I'm looking for those things. I'm looking for a long list of credentials and experience and degrees and things of that nature. But it does not require you as a business owner to have any of those things. And so that's something that you should really allow to dig deep into your brain. As I was talking to someone a couple of weeks ago, I was explaining the fact some of the most brilliant people that I've met during my journey are degreeless. And it's primarily because the people that I know that end up really cracking the code and really finding out that secret to success is because they had no other way. They didn't have
Right.
a degree to fall back on. They didn't have a corner office to fall back on. They had to fall back on. That was it. That was it. If they didn't survive in that way, then they weren't going to. That was it for them. And so,
Wow.
once you get to that point, if the game changes, the game changes.
Yes, it
But
does.
it doesn't. You can't stop there, and that's the problem I think most of us have in our community, or as a whole. We are afraid to invest into our own development and growth. Jerod, why do you think some of us are so afraid to do that?
Well, the biggest fear is being uncomfortable. A lot of people want to be comfortable in where they are in life, and they get a paycheck every 2 weeks. Okay, my health insurance is paid for. I have my 401k. I have these other type of investments. But if I go off the line, if I go off the grid, then what happens, what I'm saying, if I get sick? What happens if I do take this money and it doesn't work? But I think about one of the companies, WD-40. The reason why it's called WD-40 is because he tried 39 times, and the 40th time, they finally accepted his patent, and now he had a very successful business. You can't you can't stop there. Like you said, you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in those people who know exactly what they're doing in life. Because typically what happens is this, just like you said, if you don't invest in yourself, you become stagnant. And then you become 60, 70 years old, and then you look back at your life and said, well, I really didn't do anything. I really don't have anything.
But
One,
one of the
one,
things I do want to stress, though,
mhm.
Jerod, is that entrepreneurship isn't for everybody.
And it's
Okay.
not.
So what I will say is if you realize that that is not for you, stay out of that lane, because you will live a
Exactly.
very hard life and eat a lot of Roman noodles. Okay. If you're
Come
not
on.
good at what you do. What I will say is that one of the most aggravating things that I think I've come across during this journey is people who want a guarantee. I keep finding out from people, I really want to go after this dream. I really want to try this. I really want to do that. But I don't want to have to go through this. I don't want to have to go without that. I don't want to have to, what are my kids going to do about this? What am I,
Mhm.
first of all, we all come up with so many excuses not to do different things. But also, anything worth having, you are going to have to sacrifice for. There's not
Come
an
on.
easy way to success. If you're looking
Come
for
on.
someone to hand you something, even if you're trying to climb the corporate ladders inside of corporate America, there's sacrifices that have to be made. Okay? So anybody who wants to be successful and want to be comfortable, you are speaking oxymorons. It's not, it just
Come
doesn't
on.
work that way. There's no such thing as being successful and comfortable. When you are successful, you live in a constant state of uncomfortability. You're never comfortable when you are successful and continuously elevating and rising.
Well, let
Um,
me ask you this.
mhm.
Why do you think that strangers will support your business more than those who know you or family members or friends?
I think it's because of, I think it's more so worth. I don't necessarily think it's always a malicious thing. I think many times when people know you too well, they just don't value what services or whatever you bring in, especially if they knew you back in the day when you were, this and that, and
Okay.
they saw you growing up. They just don't value it. And many people feel like because I've known you since sixth grade or however long I know you, girl, you need to hook me up. You need to do that for me for free, and not understanding that everything has a cost. Everything requires some type of investment, because there's a return that has to come from whatever it is that one person put out. But and then sometimes, though, I'm gonna be honest with you, Gerard, some of it is malicious intent. Some people just don't want you
Hmm.
to elevate and grow further than you. But that's why it's so important to invest in yourself, because when you invest in yourself, you put yourself in different environments. It puts you in different rooms. It puts you at different tables. The conversations are different. And you are exposed to things that you would have never seen or heard of before. If you stay stagnant, if you
Exactly.
stay with
Exactly.
aunties and cousins and friends from first grade, you're going to stay at a certain place. You're not going to elevate. You're going to have to put yourself out there in a room of people who do not know you. Gerard, one of the events I spoke to of yours, somebody had mentioned to me that they want to be a successful entrepreneur, but what they don't want to do is sell to people out of their group. They don't want to get out there and meet
Mm.
new people. They're not interested in networking. I said, honey, you need to go ahead and hang that up. Go get your briefcase and go back to work. You're not going to have a long-term successful business if you are depending on family and friends. You will starve.
As a matter of fact, not going off the subject, but I went into a meeting a few weeks ago. We were talking about the motivational money that we have at work, and they said, "Well, why don't you invite your friend back, Ebony?" So you made such a great impact on a lot of people that they wanted you back. So of course, we'll discuss that offline,
Thank
but one of the things, investing in yourself. You have bought your book, and the thing about it, you just mentioned your book there. You didn't even
you.
bring the books out, and then all of a sudden you had a flock of people just buying your book because they wanted to hear more of what you had to say.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I believe that when you invest in yourself, we did mention that you have to know your self-worth, but you have to have a confidence within yourself as well.
Well, you won't have that confidence until you know your worth. I was
Wow.
sharing this
Okay.
the other day when I was talking with some millennials that had come into my office, and I was sharing that back when I was their age, I didn't know my worth. Okay, other people saw
Mm.
things in me, but I didn't know that it was there. And I kept wondering. I kept saying, I was suffering from an imposter syndrome. I kept saying to myself, um, when is this company going to realize they hired the wrong person? I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be in this job. This is not supposed to
Wow.
be me. I'm not worthy of this. Even
Mm.
though others around me saw that, and I continued to question myself and question my worth. Now, several years later, I'm very confident. I understand why I'm in the room. I understand why I'm there. And I walk in the room and sit across the table from anybody. And I'm very confident in knowing that what I came in that room to get, I'm going to walk out with. Right.
Love it.
But that
Love
comes
it.
with experience, and that comes with confidence. And confidence comes from experience and authenticity. We talk about that in my first book a lot. So a lot of people who are struggling with confidence is because they're still trying to walk in the shadows of what they think. See, Jerod, what I
Mm.
struggled with so hard when I first started out in my career is that I tried to emulate other people, um, especially when I was working a corporate job. Of course, they pair you up with mentors, and the first thing people tell you is that you need to look like this person. You need to talk like that person. You need to act like that person. If you're trying to elevate into the next level, you need to be like that person that's there. But guess what? That's not you, though. You're
No.
not being
No.
authentic to
Mm-mm.
who you are. And so
No.
when you're not authentic, you're not confident. So that's why so many of us are struggling with the elevation piece, right? So again, you have to pay or you have to serve to learn these things. It takes time. Serving is going to take you longer than it would be if you end up paying to get the right resources and learn these things.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's all about confidence. Always comes strictly from authenticity. Even some of the most pompous people that you meet, Jerod, and we say they're pompous, we say they're narcissistic, et cetera, et cetera. Their confidence is through the roof because they feel as if they know who they are. Now, whether or not
Exactly.
we agree with who they are or not is a whole nother story, but they feel like they know who they are.
And I want to talk. I want to talk to the audience and to anybody out there, that wants to go into entrepreneurship. That even if you want to invest in yourself, money is called currency for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It has to recycle itself. It
Mm-hmm.
has to go around itself. So you can't hold money and says, okay, I'm going to keep this money and I'm going to keep it for a rainy day. No, step out on faith, invest in yourself. And just like the EPI conference is coming up, invest in yourself in a conference
But
because the
let me
moment,
say this even
yeah.
more about that, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I always say this because I want to make sure people understand when you come to the EPI conference, it's a true 100% business conference. It's not a first of all, it's not for women only, it's for men and women. It's not a women's empowerment conference. It's not a church conference. It's a business conference. It's for business individuals, entrepreneurs, and business leaders. Period, Pooh, as my daughter would
Hmm.
say, right? But it's about that. And when you come there, you're going to learn real, true business principles. I'm going to share something with you that typically people don't talk about. The
Okay.
law of return. When you put the money out there,
Ooh.
okay? And it doesn't have to be EP, I could be anywhere. Okay? You cannot receive what you don't put out. So the
Come on.
people, the ones of us who hoard, and we think, okay, we're going to hoard this, we're going to save this, we're not going to invest, we're not going to learn, we're not going to restructure. You're going to stay here because you're hoarding. In order for you to grow, you have to invest. Invest. If you don't invest in yourself, don't come to me and ask me to sponsor nothing. Don't come to me and ask me
Come
to
on.
invest in you. You haven't invested in yourself. Don't do it. And that's one of the number one things I always say to entrepreneurs. What higher learning have you invested in this year? What are you doing to take yourself from where you're currently sitting to elevate yourself to the next level in your business? Because guess what? You may be the leader in the pack today. Next year, that's not going to be enough anymore.
Exactly.
People are working on, you got millennials. So the generational X folks, you got millennials on your heels. Get comfortable if you want to.
And can I tell you this as well?
Mm-hmm.
You just can't invest in yourself one time. It's a continuous thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why I'm glad that you have the conference every year, because we're learning something different every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't say, oh, I'm gonna just go to this one conference, I'm gonna get what I need, and boom, that's it, I'm gonna start my business. But the world evolves,
Mm-hmm.
technology evolves.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to know what it takes. You need to know the concepts. You need to be, the word, innovative. You have to be innovative in your craft.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be the same person that you were 5 years ago.
Mm-mm.
Because guess what? You're not going to make it.
You can't be, and I see right here where Gayla put think go global. Yes. Okay, number one, you can't think like you did not only 5 years ago, Gerard, you can't think like you did last year. All right.
Come on.
When you are
Thank you.
a business owner, you have to always be elevating. That goes back to what I stated before when I said you live in a constant state of uncomfortability, because you have to always be growing. As I tell people on my team all the time, okay, we had a win today. Is next tomorrow is here. What have you done today? Yesterday, yeah, that was great, but that's not going to pay the bills for today. It's a constant state of uncomfortability. Yes, Gayla, think globally. In this market that we're in right now, if you are too regionalized, and depending on your services that you offer, because you could be a plumber or whatever, and the plumbers would need to stay regional, right? Of your AC tech or something. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, depending on the type of company you offer, you should be thinking globally all the time.
Yes.
Okay? Because when you're too regional, when you offer a service that can be global, you're leaving too much money on the table. And in the world in which we live in, with technology being so readily accessible, there really is no excuse for you not to have a global business, a global industry. It just may be that you don't understand how to expand to that.
And don't give them too much. Don't give them too much today. Because they have, if you want to hear the rest of this, you have to come to this conference.
Anybody, I see. Okay, I see. Jocelyn said you live in this constant state of uncomfort. Yes, correct. Yes, ma'am. And Jocelyn, you know that because you're the ones that get the text messages from me at 11 and 12 and 1 o'clock with me just waking up with, wait a minute. You know, this just came to mind. This is the perfect time, guys. If anybody has any questions that they want to ask while we're on, you know, our Epic Lives are typically only 30 minutes long. We just wanted to jump on and talk about different topics as we are preparing for the EPI conference October 25th through the 27th. I wanted you guys to have a snippet and a view of our different esteemed speakers. I am so honored that Jerod Smith is joining us again. He is one of the highly sought after men of the EPI conference. He joins the ranks of Samuel Jackson. He joins the ranks of the beautiful and wonderful and smart and phonetically ordained Dr. Jamal Bryant. Did you guys see that announcement last week? I was so excited to make that final announcement. It was killing me for the amount of time to hold it in because it was like, oh, I'm ready to say it. But yeah, August 1st was the date that we announced. Dr. Jamal Bryant is going to come in and he is going to spit some knowledge on us while we're there. So I am so excited about that. And then we have some other great speakers. As I mentioned before, we have Sassy Jones. She's going to talk about how she built a multi-million-dollar company in less than 7 months. We're going to have self-made multi-millionaire and millionaire coach, Stormy Wellington. join us. She's going to be there. We have Dr. Avis Jones DeWeaver. She is an international news commentator and overwild coach. She sat on the stage with Roland Martin, the Obamas, everybody. Let me tell you about Avis. I am so honored. She's been on the stage globally in Africa and Asia and everywhere, coming and bringing the nuggets that she's going to have at the epiConference this year. It is going to be fantastic. It's going to be a memorable event. It's going to be a full weekend this time. So come ready to network, to connect, to enjoy, to learn. We're bringing back the Coinology think tank. So if you guys didn't hear about that, we had selected a few companies to get up before some of our esteemed speakers, and they got some real raw feedback. And we're going to be checking in with the folks from last year. What did you do last year with the feedback we gave you? Okay, and where are you? We're holding our folks accountable year over year over year. We're not letting you off the hook. I've signed up to said, if I am going to take this on or take you on, I am following you to the end to ensure success in you and your business. I believe in you. When I say you are accepted into the EPI conference, you are part of this program, you then become my responsibility to make sure that you become extremely successful. Any questions, anything that we can answer before we chime out for the evening?
And while we're waiting for the questions, I want to say this. Those who are coming to the conference, and if you come into the conference after you've heard this little broadcast, I will be giving away a package. Okay. It will come with your first book, your second book, and some of the paraphernalia Coinology. So if you sign up and let us know, I will personally come see you, and you will have a Coinology package just for you to continue to invest in yourself. And Ebony, I will tell you this, the people were very excited last year. People walked away with so much knowledge. People cried. There were tears there. Because they said, wow, I can do this. I can
that's the
become
thing.
an entrepreneur.
You brought up a good point, Jerod. The EPI conference is a business conference, but we got deep last year. We
did.
pulled back layers of fear, of imposter syndrome, of doubt, of depression, being alone. See, one of the things that people don't talk a lot about in the world of entrepreneurship is the mental health of an entrepreneur. And that came through very strong last year. So much so that I added 2 segments this year. One segment is specifically on the mental health aspect of entrepreneurs, because being a successful entrepreneur can be very, very, very lonely. It can be very stressful. You can be very paranoid. You can be all these things that come from that. And how does that impact you and your livelihood and your life? So we're going to have a whole masterclass around the mental health of an entrepreneur.
Wow.
Then we have another masterclass, and the men are more than welcome to join this class, because I would love to hear your feedback. But what I found is that there are a lot of highly successful women entrepreneurs, but they're struggling in their personal lives, right? And so why is that? And starting it, and so we have some really keen, and not just anybody up there talking. We have certified people. Dr. Mimi Sanders is going to join us, and she's going to talk through some of the strands, some of the things that's making successful women struggle in their day-to-day relationships with their significant others. We're going to talk through that. Yeah. But to your point, Jerod, we had a lot of emotions last year. We had where people were able to come in a room and meet people like them, like-minded people, and they saw people that did it, and then they said, if they can do it, I can do it. Right?
Wow. Yes, one of the most inspiring stories that I heard was I can't think of the woman's background, but she came into her defining moment, just like we mentioned earlier, where being an entrepreneur, you have to come to a point where you know what I'm saying, I've exhausted all my I've exhausted all my means, everything that I have. Now I have to do something to create income.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about that. She was crying, and she was saying how the fear had just kept her back so many years. How she worked at
Fear
these
and
jobs.
judgment. Fear and judgment.
Yes, in judgment. And then when she actually went into entrepreneurship, she figured out, hey, I can do this. I have the confidence to do this. And then her being at the conference even took her a step further to say, you know what? I can take my business to another level. And that's what it's all about, too.
Mm-hmm. It
If you
is.
have a business, you know, and you want to take it to the next level and you want to be top notch, come to this conference, because one of the things that I believe in is a spirit of excellence. And your company, EPI Media, has a spirit of excellence around it. And the clients that you come into, you basically help them get to a point where everybody looks at them and says, okay, wow, I'm going to invest in them. I'm going to
But you know
invest in
what else
EPI
too?
Media.
And you know what else too,
Hmm.
Gerard? One of the things is, and that's one of the reasons why we created the EPI conference, was because I was blessed to meet some of the most brilliant people in the world. I mean, literally, I would sit back many times and I would talk to Quincy or Tina, and I would just be in awe, and I would say, "Wow, do you know we just had dinner with so and so? Do you know this person just fed so and so into us? Do you know?" And it was amazing. And I was a sponge. I didn't just sit there and waste someone's time. When someone took the moment to share some information with me, I I wasn't going to be disrespectful with that. I was going to take action on that. And I
Wow.
saw how my life changed. Everyone always wanted to know, how did EPI Media Group elevate so fast? It elevated because of the people that I surrounded myself with.
Hmm.
Um I surrounded myself with people of excellence, with people who were smarter than me, with people who got it, and they sold into me. And so because of that, I said, you know what? It's not really fair for me to have this information and not do something with it. I wasn't placed on this earth as a
Wow. Wow.
conduit, or what we call a plug, and not help other people. But you got to want to help yourself. One of the things that I find,
Yes.
Gerard, is that everybody wants me to give them something for free, but it wasn't free for me. I had to invest in myself a lot.
You let me tell you something, and of course I know you personally and business wise, you paid a price
Hmm.
to build EPI Media,
Yeah.
and to get to where you are now, you paid a very, very, very large price to get to where you are, and you basically invested in yourself. And the thing about it is this, you know, yeah, rich people have these things, rich people have that. They'll tell you some things or whatever about their success, but they're not going to give it to you.
Mm-mm.
You have to go out there and you have to get it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it means to invest in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and the
Mhm.
reason why they don't give it to you, some people don't give it to you, Gerard, because some people just don't want you to get to the next level, right?
Mhm.
Some people do want to hold you back, and I hear everybody always saying the crab in the barrel and blah blah blah, but that's part of that paranoia, and it's also part of the excuse factor. The other reason why they don't give it to you, because what Dr. Mallett just pointed out here, people don't value free. So if I spend time with you and I allow you to come into my office and you sit with me for 8 to 10 hours, and I share everything and I restructure your business and I tell you exactly how to do it and how to be extremely successful, 9 times out of 10, you're going to go home and do absolutely nothing with it. Everybody that I've ever tried to call myself, quote unquote, sewing into, did nothing. Those that actually invested in themselves and spent the money and actually spent the time, actually took what they learned and did something with it. People don't
Right.
value free stuff.
They don't. And
Right.
that is so important. Once it's free, they're gonna show up late, not show up at all, or just don't care.
It's
But
unfortunate.
if yeah, but if you have to pay for something, that's just weights. If you have a personal trainer, your personal trainer can show you how to do all these things. But guess what? The weight is not going to come off or the muscle is not going to build unless you do it.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you have to invest in the time to do it.
Hmm. It's execution. It's all about execution. And
Yeah.
again, it's also the law of return. You got to put it
Yes.
out in order for it to return back to you. It is so important. And we're going to talk a lot about these different practices, the different laws. It is a lot about shifting your mindset. We talked about that last year at the
Exactly.
EPI conference. I don't care where you go. I don't care how much you invest, how much money you put into something. I don't care how clean cut you are. If you do not shift your mindset,
Come
you're
on.
not going to be successful in this world of entrepreneurship. It requires, you are wired different. Being an entrepreneur and
Exactly.
being an employee is a different mindset. The way you think, the way that you rationalize, the way that you problem solve is different because your parameters are different. And so it takes a
Exactly.
transformation of yourself and your mind in order to shift. And you can't do that staying in your same environment, reading those same books, hanging with those same people. See, when I
Come on.
came down this journey of where I'm at now, I actually had to shut off everything around me in order for me
Wow.
to get to the next level. It was painful. I had relationships that I had for years, 10 and 13 and 15 years that I had to actually shut off during that period because I had to shift my mindset. I had to talk about different things. I had to look at different things. I had to meet new people. I had to be exposed to different things. It was imperative for me to do that. And that's the same thing I would say to you. And you're not going to meet and get in those rooms and be at those tables if you don't invest in yourself. It is so important.
Right.
So
That's
important.
right.
And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but if anybody has any questions about anything, you can definitely ask the questions down below. Again, the conference is October 25th through the 27th. We have a star-studded lineup. I am so super excited. Our master classes are phenomenal. Our panels are unforgettable. Our think tank is crazy. We have some of the top keynote speakers in the industry here sharing. It doesn't matter what industry or what business you're in because we have people they're in the finance business. We have people who are in retail. We have people who are in the medical field. We have people who are MLMs. We have people that are authors, right? Whatever industry you are in, you will find your leader. We have legal, whatever, that will be there, but they are at the top of their industry. Definitely check us out at www.theepimediagroup. I'm sorry, that's my other company, but it's www.theepiconference.com. Again, it's in Atlanta, Georgia, October 25th through the 27th. We have Mr. J.D. Smith. He's going to grace the stage. I will be there, of course. We have Dr. Mila Bennett. Yes,
Yes.
board certified plastic surgeon and founder of Pretty RX. And let me tell you something. I can't wait to make an announcement. I just wait to tell you about that in just a second. But just keep your eyes out on that young woman. We have Dr. Avis DeWeaver, again, Roland Martin's former co-host, as well as international speaker and media coach. She is phenomenal, okay? Sassy Jones. If you don't know who Sassy Jones is, I don't know, you must have been under a rock. This young woman has been featured in Black Enterprise, Forbes. She's on the cover of Purpose Women for this month. She actually just got her products inside of Macy's last week and had a big. This woman went
Wow.
from um, 7 months of nothing to a multi-millionaire business. And guess what, Jerod? She's from Virginia. So for all the people that keep saying,
Wow.
I can't come from this and I can't come from this, she lives in Richmond, Virginia, okay? And this is the young lady, if you guys aren't familiar, I'm sure you probably saw it on Black Enterprise because it was floating around for a while. She's a young woman who started like her QVC type business out of her home. She was selling her own accessories and jewelry and so forth. And she had like a segment going every night, like QVC, and she was consistent with it over and over and over again. It went from, starting off with humble beginnings. So she's now in Macy's, and so many other great things are happening for her. We have Stormy Wellington, high school dropout, single mom, former dancer and stripper. Her reality show actually airs tonight in an hour and 15 minutes on WeTV. But she turned her life around and now is one of the most successful women in the MLM market that is out there. She is a multi-millionaire and doing great things and teaching other people how to. And then she's not coming to talk about MLM. No, she's coming to talk about the mindsets that have to happen, the footsteps that have to happen, the footprint of success. She's coming to talk about that. And I know and Dr. Jamal Bryant. I'm gonna put the pen down on that. Okay. Now, Dr. Jamal Bryant, I think most of you guys may know that he is the pastor of one of the largest churches in Atlanta, New Birth, but he's not coming here to preach to us. He is going to specifically talk about entrepreneurs believing in themselves. And many times as entrepreneurs, we are the only or the first to actually walk this path. And it's lonely and it's scary. And if you don't have the validation that you need and understanding how to trust yourself and trust your decisions, you will not be successful, especially if you're going down this path alone. So we're going to talk a lot about that with him as well. And again, we're going to have the Coinology think tank. We're going to have some of the sociology things, such as mental health, women, Love Jones, why successful women struggle in business, etc. All this is taking place October 25th through the 27th here in Atlanta, Georgia, at the DoubleTree in the Battery. It is going to be a phenomenal weekend. I hope you guys choose to join us because it's going to be off the chain.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jerod, you want to share before we close out?
You know what? No, that is it. This was a wonderful session. Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be at the conference, and of course, very honored to be your friend as well. God has really, truly blessed your business, and I would tell anyone out there, you will gain some very valuable knowledge by coming to this conference, and you're not going to walk away empty. You're going to walk away full.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you will.
So it's up to you. And I tell you, you have to come. You have to be there October 25th through the 27th. And could you give them that website again, Ebony?
It is www.theepiconference.com. And Jerod told you nothing but the truth because all of the speakers are extreme givers. So they are going to give of themselves like never before. And that's why we selected them. They are selfless. And I'm so honored that they have chosen to share the main stage with me that weekend and those dates. And I'm hoping that you would take advantage of that.
All right. Wonderful.
All righty. Well, we will talk soon. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.